You don't?
Nope.
You have any guesses?
I don't know, Mall.
A mall, that's a really good guess. This is not a mall. This is a place of higher education. Kind of like Carthage, but apparently more like a mall. This is Parkside. You've heard of Parkside, right?
Yeah.
And what's Parkside?
College?
It's college, right? Why do we know about Parkside?
Is that where Mom went to?
It is where Mom went to school. So this is where Mom was going to school when I met Mom. And so in today's episode, what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to go back to that time when we first met. And we were different people back then. Kind of surprising, huh? Hey, so for example, you know who this is?
Yours?
What? Mine? Why do you think this is mine?
Wait, is that Mom's?
It's Mom. So why do you think this Packers jacket? Why didn't you think this was Mom's? Doesn't Mom love the Packers?
No.
She doesn't love the Packers.
He hates football and the Packers.
She hates football and the Packers. That's right. Mom hates football and the Packers. But you know what? There was a time, shortly after the Packers won the Super Bowl, Mom and I have matching Packers jackets. Isn't that crazy? You know what else Mom liked?
What?
You know what her favorite food was? Dried mashed potato flakes. You know what those are?
No.
You get a box, and then you pour out all these little flaky things, and you add water, and then you have mashed potatoes.
Right now she's like, that's unhealthy. You should never eat that.
That's exactly right. Mom's changed a lot. You know what? Back shortly after Mom and I got married, we moved to Minnesota to go to seminary. And when we got to seminary, Mom met this lady, Emily. And Emily and Kurt did a couple different things for us. One, they introduced us to St. Paul's and Pastor Wells and the whole community there, which was amazing and awesome. But Emily was also the one that started getting your mom into like this Martha Stewart wannabe. And she stopped like doing potato flakes, right? Back then, you know what? Mom voted for Jesse Ventura.
Who's that?
What? He was a wrestler who became governor of Minnesota. This is back when Mom would like vote for people who were self-aggrandizing celebrities. She didn't realize that that was a mistake back then. But you know how many she's done since then? Voted for since then?
5?
No, none. She learned her lesson. No more of those things. So back then, it was very different. She was working at a So What store, so she was doing alterations.
What?
She was doing alterations. That's sewing. She sewed a lot back then. She got paid to sew. That's what she did for a lot of the time that I was in seminary. I worked at a bookstore on the seminary campus and sold people Bibles and theological books, and Mom sewed their clothes. So that's what we did. You know what Mom was doing when she was a Packer wearing, potato flake eating person? You know what else she would do?
What?
She would say things to cops that were really not particularly well timed. Let me explain. So when we were in St. Paul and going to seminary, I had rolled through a stop sign or something. I don't remember what. We were a couple blocks from the seminary. And this was 1998. This is an important fact because that was a year that the Minnesota Vikings had Randy Moss. He was a rookie back then. And they almost made it to the Super Bowl. They were an amazing team, really good. And everyone... What?
The Vikings?
The Vikings, I know. That's surprising, right?
That's not your team. You shouldn't say that.
I know. They're not a very good team. Don't worry. They missed a field goal at the last minute, and they didn't get to go to the Super Bowl. Big surprise, Dad. Anyway, Minnesota was filled with Minnesota Viking fans back then. And the year before, not so many. But that year, lots. And so anyway, the Packers had a really rough year that year. And we get pulled over by a police officer. He looks at our license and he comes back and he's like, looking at the address, do you go to the seminary down there? I'm like, oh yeah, I do go to the seminary. He's like, oh, that's where my pastor goes. And he's like, okay, well, you know what? I know you're a seminarian. You don't have much money, so I'm going to let you go. And he reaches in and he starts handing my license back to me. And then he kind of looks across and he sees Ann sitting over shotgun, and she's wearing her Packers jacket. And he smiles and he's like, oh, I see you're Packer fans. And then Ann says, well, at least we're not fair weather fans, which offended the police officer, but he's got that thing right there. And I'm just like, please, officer, give me the card so we can drive off. Ann was not a very good Packer fan. And now she's not a Packer fan at all. And I figured out a way to get out of future tickets. So since then, I think I got a speeding ticket in North Dakota, but that was only like $10 for some reason. I don't know. They don't charge much for speeding in North Dakota. I think I'm ticket free in Wisconsin because you don't get as many tickets if you get one of these.
What's that?
When he feels the beat, no matter how much I slide. When he feels the beat, or how much chicken I slice. Long as the rhythm's strong, I'll never get your order wrong. Let me break it down. Let me break it down. When he feels the beat. When he feels the beat.